Hello YouTube, my name is JD Pham, and on this channel we will be exploring various business ideas. I will try them out to see if they are successful and profitable, hopefully make some fun content for you guys. In this series specifically, we will be discussing hosting your vehicle on Turo or being a Turo host. I've been on the platform myself for a little over 5 years. My fleet size is right around 50 vehicles at this time. I wanted to share my experience and knowledge with you guys. I'm going to be making some videos and some vlogs and have you guys feel free to ask any questions, and hopefully these videos will be helpful for you. In this particular video, I'm going to be answering the question, how much do I need, or how much does someone need to get started on Turo? That's a question I get asked all the time. Surprisingly, a lot of my customers ask me that at least once a week because they see that we have a lot of vehicles and they want to get in the business also. I thought I'd make this video. Hopefully it'll be helpful for you guys. The short answer is anybody can walk into a car dealer, buy a brand new car, and put it on Turo. Or it doesn't have to be a brand new car. It could be a used vehicle also. For many that know me, I'm very risk adverse. If you don't have to go and spend a whole bunch of money or finance a vehicle, then I prefer that you don't do that. And if you have the ability to buy a cash vehicle, something inexpensive, just to kind of dip your toes in the water, that's kind of the method that I like to recommend to folks. It also leads me to another question. If you're thinking about getting into the Turo business and you're thinking about buying a vehicle, putting your wife's vehicle or your husband's vehicle on the platform, another question I want you to ask yourself is this: is Turo going to be for me? You see, when I started hosting on Turo in 2018, I didn't want to go like all in. I wanted just to kind of dip my toes in the water, kind of see if this is for me. I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of concerns. Some of the questions I had was, hey, will anyone rent my vehicle? That's something you think about, right? Am I going to be comfortable renting my vehicle to complete strangers? What if somebody crashes my car? Will I make money doing this? As a newbie, there were a lot of thoughts going through my mind as you are exploring and thinking about getting into hosting on Turo. Not just the question that you have, yes, how much is it going to cost me? But also all those questions I had mentioned beforehand, right? Like think about that. Think about to see if it's even the right business for you, right? So to answer that question was Turo for me, or is Turo for me? Fast forward 5 years later, and I say for me, things worked out. I've been profitable. I've been able to reinvest into the business and grow my fleet. It's definitely worked out for me. So to answer that question, right? The first question is, how much do you need to get into Turo? Well, the short answer is you need one car, right? So where can you come up with that one car? So the first option, the easiest option, is with very minimum investment. If you have an extra car sitting around, let's say your significant other or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or somebody in your family is working from home now, right? They don't really need the vehicle. Maybe try renting that out for a couple weeks or a month or 2 months and seeing if it makes sense for you, right? And see if it's profitable for you. If you aren't in a situation where you have an extra car lying around, right? Not everyone does. The best option I'd recommend is picking up an inexpensive sub $5,000 vehicle, something you can pick up on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or OfferUp, and seeing if that's for you. Why? Because it's minimum investment, and let's say if it's not for you, trust me when I say you're not going to have a hard time selling a sub $5,000 vehicle, right? You may lose a little bit of money, but trust me, you're probably not going to lose a lot. We're going to explore that option first. I'm going to switch my camera. I'm going to show you guys how to look for an inexpensive vehicle online, and we'll talk about some vehicles that I think will do well, and hopefully it'll help you guys out when you're choosing a vehicle and knowing how to go about buying that vehicle or picking up that vehicle so you can put on Turo. So let's go and take a look. Alright guys, I am now sharing my screen, so hopefully you guys see what I see. We are going to be looking for some vehicles or a vehicle to put on the Turo app. Ideally I want to find something where my return on investment or ROI is going to be like a year or less. That's ideal for me. Depending on what market you're in, if you're in a very saturated market like Southern California where I'm at, your ROI might be longer. But if you're in an untapped market where high margins on renting out a vehicle, then your ROI is going to be quicker. But the concept is still the same. I don't want to take a lot of risk, especially for the first vehicle. So I'm going to look for something $5,000 or less where there isn't a lot of risk. If I find out maybe Turo's not for me, or maybe the car doesn't rent out well, then I can resell the vehicle quickly and not have a lot of money tied into it. The first place I typically like to go is Facebook Marketplace. It may work well for my market. It may not work well for yours, but it's a good starting point. The criteria, if you look here on the left, the filters I used is I typically like to buy from an individual. Dealerships can be a pain, and we know dealerships charge a markup. The price range I put in anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000, and vehicles that are 2011, because I can't have any cars older than 12 years, so it's got to be 2011 or newer, and I just put 2020. You can put 2023, but I doubt you're going to be able to find anything for less than $5,000, and if you do, something's probably wrong with it. Mileage maximum cap is 130,000 miles per Turo's guidelines, so I put that in there as a max. What I don't like about Facebook is you can't sort by like a clean title, or whether your title's salvaged or not. So you will run into some issues. Make sure you vet it out before you spend your time driving out there and looking at the car, such as asking for the VIN number and things along that line. Right away, here are some of the cars that come up in the area. First one I see is this 2023. They put a Zero. It's not an Azera. This is obviously a Hyundai Accent, 4-door compact sedan version of the Accent. These come in two versions. I had a 2013 Hyundai Accent hatchback that did extremely well, made a lot of money, and was very inexpensive to maintain. So I highly recommend these vehicles. Keep in mind that typically for Kias and Hyundais, Accents and Rios that are from this model range, like 2011, 2012, 2013, the catalytic converter tends to go bad around 85,000 miles. So you'll probably have to purchase a catalytic converter. The great thing is there are some good aftermarket options that are a third of the price of a brand new one, which makes them very viable vehicles. I never really had a problem with my Accents or Rios other than the catalytic converter, so I do highly recommend these. They're easy, they rent well, they're easy to maintain, they're easy to fix, so I like these a lot. So for this one, the guy wants $4,000 for it, 125,000 miles. I don't like the fact that they don't have the VIN posted. I love listings with VIN numbers because you can easily Carfax them, look them up, and it just shows that they don't have anything to hide. So I'm going to assume that this is a clean title, but obviously make sure you vet it out, right? So right here, he says $4,000 OBO, which means he will open and negotiate. Right here, catalytic converter got replaced. Now, we don't know if he replaced it with a good catalytic converter or with a cheap Chinese knockoff. So I'd be wary here. You may buy it and then 3 months later have to replace the cat. Okay, but let's just say I'm interested in this vehicle, $4,000. Well, how do I know if this is too much or if this is a good price or not, right? So typically what I like to do is I'll go here to Kelley Blue Book and I'll look up the values here. So typically what I like to do is I will pretend that this is my car, and then I will go on here and I'll put, well, hey, I want to trade in, right? When you go to Kelley Blue Book, I want to know my car's value. Right? Typically, Kelley Blue Book will give you wholesale prices. When you're trading in a vehicle, they're going to give you wholesale pricing. And that's where I want to kind of target what I want to pay, right? If dealers are paying wholesale pricing for trade-ins, I want to buy cars at that price or around that price, right? That's when I know I'm getting a good deal. If you do Turo long enough, you'll know that the profit, the money is in the buy, right? Not just in the sell. So if I buy this vehicle right and I sell it later at retail or at close to retail, then I'm gonna profit there, right? And then on the flip side, let's say I start renting out the vehicle today. I buy this vehicle today, I rent it out today, and tomorrow it gets totaled during a rental. Turo's gonna pay me the actual cash value on that vehicle, right? Which is very close to retail, right? If you bought the car right and you got a good deal on it and you paid wholesale or close to wholesale, right? Then if the car was to get in an accident, then I'm going to make money on it because my insurance payout is going to be closer to retail. Keep that in mind and use that kind of as a rule of thumb when buying cars. Now, make and model, right? I'm going to go back here. It's a 2013 Hyundai Accent, and these are typically GLS, right? So make and model 2013 Hyundai Accent, 125,000 miles. It's a sedan. There's typically only one style. I'll price with standard equipment. The color is white. And let's just get trade-in value. Okay. I typically like to put good or fair around there. But good is good. Kelley Blue Book is saying if this was my car and I went to the dealer and traded in, this is probably the range, right, that they're gonna provide. Anywhere between 2,800 and 3,800, the middle point being about 3,300. Okay? If that is what the dealer is gonna get me, and this is kind of considered wholesale, right? That's what I want to aim for when I'm buying this car. So when this guy is saying, hey, he wants $4,000 or the best offer for it, well, I'm going to try to get him to sell it to me for $3,300. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, right? I don't use Kelley Blue Book very often, right? But this is what's available to the public. The reason I don't is I do have a dealer's license in California, an auto dealer's license. So we use Manheim, right? Most dealers will use the Manheim Market Report. People also say MMR, right? When we are talking about dealer wholesale, right? Prices that a used car dealer would pay for at a car auction, right? At a private dealer's auction. This is the kind of the guide that we use when we're buying cars at auction, right? And Manheim is the largest used car dealer auction in the country. When I'm putting in values or when I'm looking for a car, I'm using these values as I'm buying them, right? So as you can see here, I put in 2014 Hyundai Accent GLS with 125,000 miles. I gave it a 2.7 condition report rating. And Manheim is saying that I should be paying anywhere, the base MMR or the base value is 3,300. But because the car has higher mileage than the average, right? The average should be 113,000 miles. This car was driven more than average. So it's deducting $390 from the value. So it's saying I should be paying around $3,100 or $3,200 for this car. Now, if you go back to the Kelley Blue Book guide, that's not far off, right? So this is what the pros use, the MMR, and this is what you can use if you're not a dealer, right? So 3,300 is what it's saying, and this is saying 3,300 right here, but minus the extra mileage driven on this car, so around $3,175, $3,200. So pros use this, you can use this, and use this kind of as your guiding light, right? When you're buying cars. I see this car, I think it's worth reaching out to this guy, getting the VIN number, kind of looking it up, and doing your due diligence there. Here's another one. I saw this one. This was pretty interesting. 2014 Kia Rio LX, 9,600 miles, $2,900. I'm going to put in here 2014, okay, Kia Rio 4-door LX hatchback with 96,000 miles, right? Base is anywhere, it should be right around $3,300 for this car. And what does she want? She wants $2,900. So this is below wholesale. Reading into the description, Monica, who's selling this vehicle, is saying that it drives great, no issues, the title is clean, but there is a ticking noise. I've owned over 15, 16 Hyundais and Kias. I've owned 4 of these Rios. They all tick. They all make ticking noises, right? So it's worth taking a closer look at this. You're either going to get a good deal because she's saying it's ticking, or you might get a bad engine. Who knows? But you're not going to know until you get there, check out the vehicle, drive the vehicle, or do a pre-purchase inspection, have a mechanic check it out, right? She might think, hey, because it doesn't sound right to her, she's selling it cheap, but it just might be doing its thing, right? It just might be normal, and you might be getting a good deal here. So again, worth checking out. This one's worth checking out. And then, of course, you can go down here, and as you can see, you can pick up a car for there's a lot of options in the $3,000 or $4,000 range. Now, are all of them going to be great? No. The majority of these guys are going to have issues, have problems, but you have to vet them out. You have to run the Carfax. You have to look at the vehicle history. You have to talk to the seller. You have to go there, test drive the vehicle. If you're not sure, pay for a pre-purchase inspection somewhere, right? But I do like Kias and Hyundais as good starter cars. Here's some other options, right? Fiats. I bought a 2013 Fiat 500 2-door. I bought it for like $3,400. It's probably like $3,600. I'm sorry. In 2018, 2019, it's like $25,000 for me in the last 4 years. I've had very few repairs on it. AC compressor, timing belt, oil changes, brakes, but nothing major, right? again, I paid $3,600 for it. I made $25,000 in the last 4 years. Plus, I probably made more than that. I'm gonna be listing it to sell on Facebook here in the next couple of days. Once everything's said and done, I'm probably gonna sell it for like $2,500 or $2,000. So I'll make like $2,800 on it. Hey, if I had like 20 or 30 of those, I only bought one, right? But if I had bought 20 or 30 of those, then I'd be sitting pretty, right? Ford Fiesta and Ford Focus I have both, right? But they have been known to have transmission issues, clutch issues, right? They were provided an extended warranty. If you can find a seller that has done the warranty work on it and has replaced the transmission or the clutch pack, that's definitely worth looking into, right? But then if that work hasn't been done and the warranty has expired, definitely don't touch them, because I've had the clutch pack go out on me already. It takes a very long time. Oh, and there's also an issue with the transmission control module, the TCM module for those vehicles. If the work has been done, great. If they haven't, stay away from them. Okay. We talked about Kia Rios, Hyundai Accents. Again, good, reliable cars. Surprisingly, the Chevy Sonic, I've had 4 of them. They've done well for me. Again, cheap to acquire, cheap to fix. But once things start breaking down after about 80,000 miles, it will nickel and dime you from time to time. But still worth looking at, right? I think you can get them cheap. They're nickel and dime repairs, but they're also cheap to repair. And over time, you'll make money. Other cars worth mentioning, notable cars, the Corolla, the Civic, the Jetta, reliable. I own all those. They've done well. They're great, but they just cost a lot, right? There's a reason why a Toyota Corolla costs as much as they do, even used, because they last well. They last long, right? And they're easy to maintain. They're cheap to fix. But your return on investment on those vehicles are going to be much longer, and in some cases 2 years plus. Keep that in mind when looking for vehicles. Another place I like to look for vehicles is Craigslist. So for sale, I'll go to Craigslist, go to your town's area. Here I'll put Orange County, and then you'll go down here, cars and trucks that are for sale, and same thing. I'll go 2011 to 2020 odometer. I like to put like 10,000 miles to 130,000 miles. Transmission, guys, keep it at automatic. Don't mess with manual vehicles unless it's a Miata or something cool, or a Porsche, right? Clean title. Fuel, I like to use gas. And then I like to look for vehicles like 20 miles from my zip code, okay? Oh, and then up here, I forgot to click owner. Should have clicked it first instead of dealers. And then I click apply, and oh, what? I forgot to put minimum pricing. Getting all these expensive cars. So let's see what $5,000 can get me. So 2013 Focus, we just talked about that. Blah, 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 100,000 title, runs and drives great, no check engine lights. Again, no VIN number, always concerning for me. And this doesn't tell me if transmission and the TCM has been replaced. Again, things to look out for, right? So I'll stay away from this one. Now, this one is cool. I looked at this earlier, but it's definitely a red flag, right? Again, no VIN number listed. The 2014 Outlander with 100,000 miles for $3,500 is pretty cheap. I own one of these. As a matter of fact, I think same year, or either 2013 or 2014. But for $3,500, these are very good cars for the price. You get a lot of bang for your buck here, but pretty cheap. And as you read it, right, it says everything is good, blah, blah. And then right here, I unfortunately lost the pink slip. So we can go to AAA to take care of, and feel free to ask me any questions. I don't know about that, right? That seems sketch. So I'll go and I'll sketch. Okay. Stay away from Beamers at this price. A couple of Focuses. But then when you look around, there isn't a lot, right? Here, there isn't a lot. Why? Well, because Craigslist is, I don't know in your area, but around here it's kind of crappy, pretty scammy. So I don't see a lot here. I've had much better luck with Facebook Marketplace. I would start here, or OfferUp's also another good option, but that's how I typically look for cars. Alright guys, well, just to recap, the question is, how much do you need to get started in the Turo business? And the answer to that is one car, right? If you happen to have a car lying around, somebody in your household has a car that they're not using, that's the first option and the best option to get started on Turo. The next best option to get started on Turo is to go out and pick up an economy car. Again, do what I did earlier when I was browsing for vehicles. Target vehicles within the $3,000 to $5,000 range. So I think you can probably get away with picking something up for around $4,000. Leads me to the original question: how much do you think you would need to get started on Turo? I would say a minimum of about $4,000. Other than that, I hope I answered your question. If you do have any other questions, feel free to comment below. And if you do like these types of videos, please help me by subscribing to my channel. And I look forward to answering any questions and doing more videos for you guys in the future. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.